Hey, my kitchen peeps. Today we're going to do something very different. And actually, I already started doing it, sorry. I was about, I don't know, a little ways into the way of prepping this and realized, oh shoot, let's do a video. That's just like so easy to do. But anyway, we're going to make bread pudding. I know, right? It is one of the best desserts. I don't make a lot of desserts. I'm not a big sweets eater. And the more I have around the house, the more often we'll eat it. So anyway, I don't do it that much, but I kind of got ahead of myself with the not gluten-free, with the wild fermented sourdough bread that I get every week from Scratch Bakehouse. Let me show you, I have a bag here. That's her little Scratch Bakehouse. This girl, Christina, is the sourdough whisperer. She makes the most phenomenal sourdough you'll ever put in your pie hole. She's got the sandwich bread, which is what I just showed you. She makes a classic loaf. She's got focaccia bread, pizza crust to die for. So if you really, really like sourdough, I'd recommend give her a shout. You can find her on Facebook and message her. It is awesome. We buy a loaf every week. But anywho, some kind of way, I wound up getting ahead of myself and I had an extra loaf. I don't know what I did, but I thought, oh, what am I going to do with all this bread? And then it hit me. Bread pudding. So I started working on it. See, oops, started cutting it up. Got a couple things measured out and then realized, okay, stop, let's back up. But it's really, really easy. This is my grandma's recipe. I've kind of cleaned it up just from the perspective of, I use dairy-free milk. I mean, I'll use regular milk if I have it, but rarely do I have it. I always use real butter because real butter is the bomb. But you hear my oven back there? Sounds like it's about to take off. Yep, it's just my oven, not an airplane, don't worry. But I've piddled with this recipe so long. I've ramped it up into a much bigger amount and brought it down to a smaller amount, so it's really adjustable. I'm doing the mambo amount today only because I have so much bread. So I'm doing it in this ginormous casserole pan. This is a 4-quart. Yeah, 4 quarts of bread pudding, but my family will eat it. So anyway, that's what it's going to go in. But what you want to do is you're going to scald some milk and butter, cut up your bread. That gets mixed together, set to the side. Then mix some, her recipe called for white sugar. I use coconut sugar and a little maple syrup, kind of a blend of that. And I'll put all the measurements in the comments and I'll talk about them. I'm just kind of running it through with you. Some cinnamon, a little nutmeg, some vanilla, some eggs. You mix all that up, then mix it into your bread milk mixture. And then if you like raisins, which we do, we'll add some raisins. And this is 1 cup of raisins that I've got soaking in some really, really hot water. And that just makes them fluffier and that plumps them up. So in the bread, they're not little chewy raisiny things. They're more kind of fruity, gooey. They're good. Anyway, so I'm letting those soak. And then I also have a little bit of leftover white chocolate chips that some kind of way got melted into a ginormous chocolate chip. So I'm just going to shave some white chocolate in there. That's really good. And if you have nuts, pecans are awesome in it. I don't think I have any pecans right now, so we're going to do no pecans, but you can always add those. So I'm going to turn the camera down, kind of show you how I cut the bread. Not really brain surgery or anything, but there are a couple things that I'll tell you that help. Let's see if I can bring this down. Oh, come on, thing. There we go. All right. So, can you see that? There we go. So, this is the sandwich bread. Like I said, God, it's divine. We love it with our toast. I make grilled cheese out. It makes the best Reuben you've ever put in your mouth. But anywho, enough of the bread. Get in touch with Christina at Scratch Bakehouse. You will never regret it. I cut my bread pretty small. I've done it all kinds of sizes. I like it small because it soaks up more of the liquid. So you get more, in my opinion, kind of pudding texture. If your bread is too big, again, in my opinion, it doesn't get wet, or it has the risk of not getting wet all the way through, and then you wind up with some kind of bready, dry, whatever kind of spots, and I don't like that. I like mine really googly all the way through. So I didn't pay that much attention to how much I've cut up here because, like I said, I was just rocking and rolling and then realized, oh shoot, make a video. But I think, let's see, that was 4 slices. I finished off another loaf that I think had 4 or 5 slices, so that's about 9. I mean, again, depending on the kind of bread you use, it's going to vary. But this is probably taking about half of a loaf. I'm doing 10 cups of bread, and I've got an 8-cup measure, so I'm going to throw a couple more slices in there, just for fun. Oh, shoot. Pause this. I'm going to go turn my oven or my stove on. I want to get my milk scalding. I'll explain that in a minute. But you want your bread all caught up. Good golly. Cut up. Not caught up. But you want it cut up so that when your milk is scalded, you can, oh, oven's ready. You can pour it over and it's ready to go and your milk doesn't cool down while you finish cutting your bread up. That would not be a good thing. So, like I said, I have an 8-cup measure. I don't know if you can see. Get this thing out of the way. Can you see that? Yeah, sort of. So I'm just kind of going a little above. But what I will do is, measure out my bread. I have made this with gluten-free bread, and it's amazing. I've used the char baguettes, kind of the French bread style loaves, and it works out really, really well. So it's a very forgiving recipe. I have used regular French bread just from the grocery store in the years past. I've used char gluten-free baguettes. I've used the Scratch House sandwich loaf. I've used Scratch House cinnamon rolls. Holy moly, you talk about amazing. But anyway, so it's a very forgiving recipe and will handle a lot of options. So I've got my bread cut up in little bitty cubes like this, and it says, my grandma's recipe, mix it in a bowl and then pour it in here. I'm like, oh, forget all that. That's just dirty and more dishes. So I'm just going to pour my milk in here, mix it in here, and let it sit. Then we'll go over to the mixer, and let's see if we can we move over here without breaking something? Okay, so there is my milk. I've got 6 cups of milk, and I'm using oat milk. I have used coconut milk, almond milk, oat milk. Whoops, sorry, you don't need to look at my dirty cookie sheet. How about that? Does that work? Whoa, one of these days I'm gonna drop my phone right in the pot or something. But anyway, again, a very forgiving recipe. I've used regular milk. I've used whipping cream if you really want to indulge. Like I said, this is oat milk. I have used almond, coconut. So whatever works for you, use it. This is real butter, Kerrygold, grass pastured milk butter. God, it's so good. You can use dairy-free butter. I have used Earth Balance. It works very, very well. So I'm just a butter junkie. So we're going to let this kind of melt up. When you're scalding your milk, it's not real hard. You just put it in your pot and get it hot. And you want to watch it because you don't want it to come to a boil, but you want it to get really, really hot where it's just about to boil and getting little tiny bubbles and starting to kind of go like it's going to get into a rolling boil, but you don't want to get it that far. And then you just whisk your butter in real good, and that's a scald. You want to be careful, stir it. You don't have to stir it nonstop, but stir it pretty regularly. Of course, I have a whisk here because my butter wasn't melted all the way. So I was just kind of breaking it up. Not that you have to do that because butter will melt when it gets hot, duh. So anyway, I'm going to pause the video and let this get a little bit hotter, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Then we'll pour it over the bread. Then we'll go make the sugar, egg, spice mixture that goes in, and then it'll go in the oven. And y'all, I'm telling you, this is a super easy thing, and you will dazzle and impress your friends and family. So hang tight. Okay, I'm going to start us back. I don't know if you can see this real good, but it's starting to get some bubbles on top, little bitty ones. And you can see, well, hopefully you can see the steam coming off of it. So it's getting really, really hot. It is super close to being to the point that I want it. And it's, I don't know, maybe it's been 7 or 8 minutes. I don't think it's been too terribly long. I've just been kind of puttering around the kitchen, cleaning up and doing a few things. So it doesn't take long. And then it's ready to go. So we are super close. And I have no idea the scientific baking reason for scalding milk. I don't know. My grandma taught me how to do it. It's in some of her recipes. It's in a lot of older recipes. I don't know. I'm not a chef. I'm not a baker. But this is a really good recipe. So we'll just leave it at that. I guess it's kind of one of those things as a food nerd. I should research to see what the purpose of it is, but I don't know. Just never have. Just did what I was told, miraculously enough. But we are looking good. It is on the edge of boiling, which is where we want it. We don't want to let it boil. We just want to get it really, really close. All right, I'm going to pause again, move the camera back over to where the casserole pan is, and we'll move over there and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pour the milk all over the bread and it'll just kind of start soaking in. One thing I didn't mention, when you're scalding milk, once it gets to the boiling point, it will boil over and make the most ginormous, disgusting, sticky, you will regret it kind of mess you've ever dealt with. So you really want to watch and not let it get to that point, because it kind of gets, it's like an avocado that goes from it's hard as a brick to it's overripe in 5 minutes. It'll do that. It'll go from it's not doing anything, it's getting warm, to it's boiling over if you're not paying attention. So just set that off to the side. So this, all you want to do is just make sure that your bread is good and soaking up all that milk. Ooh, smells good already. So we'll move over to the mixer. Got bread trapped in the whole thing. And mix up the last piece, but I'm going to go ahead real quickly and shave off some of my chocolate. See, look, can you see that? These were chocolate chips. And some kind of way, God only knows how, they got melted and turned into a ginormous block. So I've just been doing this and using it in random stuff. Like I said, I made the cinnamon roll bread pudding, God, just a few weeks ago, and it was the most amazing thing ever. And it made another ginormous vat full. I sent some home with my brother and his family and my older son and his family, and so I'm sure I'll be doing the same thing, finding people to give this to, because God, that's way too much for the 3 of us. It's kind of one of those, if it's here, we're going to eat it. All right, I'm going to keep going with this just to get the chocolate that I want in there. And this is just one of those things, do however much you want. If you want a lot, do a lot. If you want a little, do a little. If you don't want it, don't put it in there. I mean, it's whatever. But I have it. It's a nice little addition, so I'm using it up. But I'm gonna pause one more time, then while I finish this, and then we're gonna run over to the mixer, mix the last step, and in the oven it goes. Okay, we're back. So I got the chocolate mixed into the bread over there. Now what we've got is 2 cups of coconut sugar in my mixer. I had already done that when I had the revelation of doing the video. And we're gonna do, I don't like a lot of nutmeg. I'm kind of nutmeg averse, so I'm gonna do about 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you like more, go for it. But to me, a little bit goes a long way. And we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. That was a little light. Then we'll have a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Ooh, the real deal kind, not that imitation junk you can buy. I've actually got some vanilla extract making in my pantry, and I am super stoked about it. What's a tablespoon? Got a bunch of vanilla beans and some vodka, and away it goes. And then these are, we got 5 eggs straight out of my garden, or not, yeah, I grow eggs in the garden. What a goober. Straight out of our chicken coop, how about? We don't have a plant that gives us eggs, but we do have chickens that give us eggs. So we're gonna get 5 eggs in here, and then a little bit of maple syrup. We're gonna blend this up real good and pour it in with the bread milk mixture. Got a 1/2 cup of maple syrup, and this is the real deal Maple Valley Co-op maple syrup. It is unreal. It's another one of those things I've got in our market and we sell on tap. And I'm telling you, I could just about stick a straw in that big old 3-gallon bag I have. All right. So I'm not gonna let y'all listen to that because that's a little irritating, but we're just gonna blend this up really, really good. So I'm gonna pause this again while that finishes, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll add it. Okay, back again. So here is our mix. Kind of looks almost like a caramel sauce, sort of. We are going to pour this right on top of our bread. You know, obviously it's a little bit more brown from the coconut sugar and the maple syrup. If you used white sugar, gross, it wouldn't be quite this brown. But, you know, whatever, I don't care. It's a little bit darker, works for me. I know it's got a better taste and better nutritional value using maple syrup and coconut sugar than using processed white sugar. So there's that. Then we're going to take our raisins that have been just taking a little spa treatment here, and you want to get the water out of them, but they're kind of, well, of course you can't tell, but they're fluffier and kind of juicy now, as opposed to, you know, real dried up and like they are. It just makes them really plump and nice in the bread pudding. Now, if you were adding nuts, you could do that at this point. If I had pecans, I would sure enough put them in here, but I don't have any right now. So let me grab a spoon, because this spatula is not real great to do this job, but, well, maybe it'll work. All you want to do is mix this super good. Make sure you get everything stirred around. You don't want any little pockets of milky bread that don't have the sugar egg mixture. And you want to get your raisins dispersed all the way through. So make sure, actually the spatula's probably doing a better job because it's getting into these corners really well. Goodness, I wish y'all could smell this. Lord have mercy. Whew, smelling yummy. But you can put golden raisins in it. You can put cranberries in it, you know, dried cranberries, craisins as they call them. Those are good. Walnuts, pecans, any kind of, you know, whatever your nut of choice is. I'm telling you, this is a super forgiving recipe and just has a lot of room for flexibility. And it is amazing every single time. Okay, so that's that. And now what we're gonna do is, I don't know if you can see this pan right here. This is just an old roasting pan I have. And it's got, I don't know, about 1 inch of water in it. We're gonna set the pan down in there because we wanna do this in a water bath. So it's gonna go in the oven. I don't know if you can see that very well. In this pan. So the water is gonna, you know, kind of control the temperature a little better and keep the oven really, really super moist, which helps make this more pudding texture and less cakey texture. So I'm gonna pop it in the oven. The recipe said 45 minutes, but since I've made the monstrosity jumbo version, I think from when I did this last time, it took probably about 1 hour 20. But I'm gonna put it in there, set it for 45 minutes. I guess I can turn this up so y'all can see me instead of my hands flying around. but I'm gonna put it in there for 45. I'll check it just by sticking a knife in it, kind of jiggling it. You don't want it soft or gooey, you want it kind of solid. See how it is, give it a little more time, and I'll keep working with that. And then I'll show y'all the end product, which, wish you could be here tonight. It's really good. So hang loose and we'll be back in a little while. Okay, just got it out of the oven. It's been in there for 50 minutes and I want to show you what it looks like. It's still not quite done. All right, you see, can you see down in there? Oh, it's kind of cloudy. See how it's a little moist right there? It's still got a ways to go. This is a really deep, really full pan, so it's going to take probably another 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to put it back and then we'll come back again. Okay, I got it out of the oven and it is beautiful. It wound up going an hour and a half, which you probably won't have to go that long if you don't make 87 gallons like I did. I mean, this is a really big batch. Normally, you'd probably do half of this, so it wouldn't go as long, but this just took a long time. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what it looks like finished, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait to dig into this. One thing I will tell you, when you're pulling this in and out of the oven or checking it, putting it in the oven, be super, super careful, because the water, to make your water bath, you know, going in it's not hot, coming out it's super hot, and if you're not super careful and easy with it, it'll slosh around and you can burn yourself really bad. So just be careful with that. But I'm gonna flip the camera and show you what this looks like. It is going to be so good. Look at that, and see, hopefully you can see how there's no liquid left down in there, but it's still ooey gooey. I'm gonna scoop a little bit out. I swore to myself I would never eat on camera because I don't know. I hate to watch little cooking videos and people are eating. That's just gross to me. And I'm not going to eat this, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like kind of on the inside. It's so moist and so exceptionally yummy. So y'all try this. All the directions, not the directions, these are the directions, all of the ingredients and the volume. And I'm going to do it in the directions. Good Lord, what is wrong with me? In the comments exactly as I made it. So it's going to be the 87 gallon model. No, the 4-quart casserole. And again, you can quarter it, you can cut it in half, you can double it. It is a really forgiving recipe that is easy to take it up or down or whatever you want to do. So I hope y'all try this. It's super tasty. Your family's going to love you. And like, share, hug me, subscribe, pat me on the back, whatever, all the stuff. Just do all the stuff, please, so that we can get our community built up of all of the foodie nerds. So y'all have a good one. Talk to you soon.